here in the United States, Sasha, more and more we're seeing even left-wing school districts getting serious pushback from parents on the attempt to keep this a secret from the parents. I've had arguments online with so-called social workers who maintain it's completely appropriate for a social worker at a school or a guidance counselor at a school to whom a child says, I'm secretly trans and I want to transition here at school and I don't want you to tell my parents, to keep it a secret. And in the New York City publics and privates now, it's policy. It's policy. And not just in New York, it's happening more and more and more. Yeah. Out in Los Angeles, near Los Angeles, I think this was Orange County, just last night, they were in the news because the school board was forced to take a vote on whether they should be required, as the parents were demanding, to notify the parents if this happens. It passed, I think, 4-3. It just got through. The 3 who were against it, if I'm remembering correctly, got up and walked out. They were so angry that they were about to lose. One of them was very vocal about how wrong this vote was to keep parents in the loop. We have a little bit of her. She was on the losing side, thankfully.
As a teacher, I oppose this policy. Any student comes out to me, I will not out them. I will not do it. It's not in their best interest.
So she wasn't on the board. She was a teacher. If you don't tell my child, if you want to have a secret with my child, I'll get you fired. I will make it I will sue you. I'll sue you personally. I'll sue your school district. I will make your life a living hell. I will. Trust me. I mean, and I will do it for other parents too, because guess what? I have plenty of money to do it, and I have a vicious pit bull lawyer. I will get you. I want to create a nonprofit so I can help all parents in this position, even those who don't have deep pockets. It's deeply, deeply, deeply wrong. And I know you agree that it's wrong, but can you explain why?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some serious misunderstandings about what it means not to tell a parent if their child is questioning their gender. I think people take it similarly to, like, if a kid says to you, I think I might be gay. I don't think in every case that the teacher needs to kind of warn the parent that their child is gay. But this is so different because it's not the same for many reasons. I mean, first of all, a kind of basic fundamental principle is that parents love and know their children best, and they're the ones entrusted with making every single decision about this child's care. So when a child is saying that they're questioning their gender, it actually requires a great deal of participation from everyone around them. So that means putting them in different changing rooms and lockers, changing the way you address them at school, changing their name and pronouns. So it's a very different situation. And if a kid is going through that, absolutely, the parents need to be aware, and they need to be working with the family to actually take guidance and cues from the family about what they want the school to do.
Yes,
so it's
they are depriving
backwards.
You of their opportunity. They're depriving parents of their opportunity to intervene and help potentially, if appropriate, and it is appropriate, steer the child away from this towards something that looks more like actual mental health care to resolve their issues. This is where your book comes in. I offered the tease before about sort of the redirect. And the book talks about how, okay, if we're going to be obsessed with identity issues, how about this one? Let's talk about our cultural heritage. Let's talk about where you're from. Let's talk about what it means to be, Syrian American or Irish American, whatever. That's actually worked for some of the parents. And other parents that I know you interviewed talked about how we're going to immerse our kid, like our kid's going hardcore chess club. Like we're going to wean him off of the Reddit and the YouTube, and he's going to become a mathlete or something like this. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, over the last maybe 7 or 8 years, I used to tell people early on, parents who contacted me, I'd say, we're learning together because we don't have any precedent for what to do in these situations. Rapid onset gender dysphoria is a brand new phenomenon. And luckily, Lisa, Stella, and I, we were advising parents and talking with them early on. And a lot of our clinical instincts turned out to be right because we've kept in touch with families over the last 7 or 8 years. And parents report back to us what was helpful, what was not helpful. And ultimately, what we want is to help these kids thrive and be happy and be more themselves and have a broad perspective on what it means to be a person, what it means to be a human, right? So we encourage parents to keep things broad. If your child is going down the tunnel vision path of getting obsessed with gender as this kind of magic solution to their problems. Make sure their life is actually full of interesting, enriching, valuable activities that they like, right? Support their gender nonconformity. It's okay to express yourself in different ways. But if your child is pretending to be someone they're not, and it's making them more self-conscious and hate their body more, that doesn't seem to be a healthy road. So we want to make sure that parents really lean in with a lot of quality time and bonding and keeping their kids busy with fun and interesting things and really broaden their world, right? Getting tunnel vision is never a good idea.
And you point out too, I talked about this recently, but work on yourself too. And Dr. Laura says this. She follows me on SiriusXM. I love Dr. Laura. I love her. But she always says in all her years of doing family therapy, she's never met a kid with a problem. She's met tons of kids with parents who have problems, right? Like, look at yourself. How are you living? How is your marriage? How is your mental health? How is your household before you just sort of rain down on your kid?
Yeah. And I mean, frankly, most of the parents we talk to aren't trying to rain down on their kid per se, but it's just that the kid is such an obvious, glaring distress that it's so easy to focus on. And to be fair, I mean, it's really hard when you are a parent who sees something going on and all of society around you says you're bad for thinking that way. So I think even when there were challenges in the family, it can get exacerbated when a parent feels so isolated and alone and ostracized. But you're absolutely right. There's a whole chapter about mental well-being for the parent, because this can become a rabbit hole that kind of the kid falls down the rabbit hole and then the parent falls down the rabbit hole too. So the same kind of philosophy about making sure you are a well-rounded whole person. Don't get too obsessed with this idea. And Helena is a brilliant detransitioned young woman who talks about this on our podcast and lots of other media appearances. But for her, the gender distress was a kind of signal that something else was going on in the family structure. She was feeling a bit abandoned because her mom was really busy with this or that thing. And so, that's not the exact story that we see. But parents who do really well in this situation, they often say stuff like, this gender thing was a wake-up call for our family. And we really started to think about what was going on. Maybe the sibling had really complicated medical issues. And so everybody was focused on her brother for 3 years and she kind of got neglected. So it was a wake-up call to see that there is something else going on that might be the root cause of this. So I think you're right. It's a family system that needs to be looked at and thought about. And some minor changes here and there can make a big difference.
Mm-hmm. And beware, if you have a kid who's gifted, which is amazing and awesome, you just keep an eye on them, because there's an unusually high percentage of kids who are gifted who fall prey to this. And as I mentioned too, kids on the autism spectrum, same. And the book goes into in depth why that is. You can read it to find out why, but just be aware that's a thing. The other huge thing is the online presence. I mean, all these kids who get sucked into this. And by the way, rapid onset gender dysphoria was a term coined by Dr. Lisa Lippman of Brown. She's brilliant. It was her work on which Abigail Schreier based Irreversible Damage in large part. If you want to go back and hear those episodes, Schreier was one of our first episodes. We didn't even have video back then. It was episode 12. Lippman came on episode 188. Both so worth your time. But in any event, so the kids, it happens and it happens quickly, and you've got to know what you're talking about as the parent. What else can parents do, right? So you've got sort of, for lack of a better term, distraction. You've got, identity leaning in. And then the online thing, how exactly? How do you get your kid offline? Because a lot of parents say, oh, great, that's going to be really easy. So give me your phone, give me your iPad, no more YouTube.
It's very hard. I mean, this is one of the things we refer to as mitigating unhelpful influences. And that can come from online, it can come from therapy, it can come from a lot of different places. But, we recommend thinking about this as a digital wellness issue, right? And if you make it punitive and you say, you're not allowed to look at so-and-so types of YouTube videos, you're going to have a really hard time managing that interaction with your child. But if instead you frame it as, we've been doing some research and thinking, and all of us are on our screens too much. So we might implement a couple of kind of household ideas to get us all off screens a little bit. So that way you are not really focusing just on the child and their maladaptive internet use. You're treating it like a wellness issue, just in the same way that you're feeding your kids vegetables, but you're not scarfing down like 3 pizzas every night, right? Like all of us want to be healthy. So again, we're trying to take the focus off of the gender piece because it's really distracting, and think about the well-being of this family, of this child overall.
Look in the mirror. You see those dark spots? Well, they're not going to go away on their own. Introducing the Dark Spot Corrector from Genucel, perfect for summer. The Dark Spot Corrector, with not 1 but 3 cutting-edge ingredients, goes to work fast to target sunspots, dark spots, liver spots, even old discoloration both on your face and hands. Enjoy your summer sun, beach, and barbecues without embarrassing spots. With Genucel, you'll see the results or you'll get your money back. No questions asked. Go to Genucel.com right now. Get your dark spot corrector with the new Genucel Most Popular package and say goodbye to those pesky spots tomorrow. And if you're not blown away with the results, get 100% of your money back. Visit Genucel.com/MK60 right now for these amazing summer essentials and save over 70% off Genucel's Most Popular package. Don't wait. Free shipping, free returns, and the best luxury skincare you've ever used, all at 70% off. Genucel.com/MK60. That's GENUCEL.com/MK60. All orders include a mystery luxury gift while supplies last. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.